What if I told you that gardening doesn't have to end when the frost hits? Yes, that is right. Here is a number of different things that I am planting in September and October to help not only get harvest, but to get cold, hardy seeds. Yes, that's right. Better seeds for our climate. And yes, it involves covering things in snow on purpose. Zone 3 logic, do not question it. So today's video, we're going to look at plants that can be planted and then obviously harvested throughout the fall and winter months, and kind of what supplies and things you need to be ready for when it comes to that. We're also going to look at things we can plant now, and the seeds I think are going to actually shock you quite a bit for early germination, and they will germinate early in the spring. They'll be the first indicator that the soil is warm and workable and ready for other seeds. Plus, you will get much earlier harvest because of it. You have to stick around to the end to find out what I do with things like carrots and beets to make literal super carrots and beets. No word of a lie. You will have some of the best lineage when it comes to carrot and beet seeds if you use these techniques. So I actually did a whole video on this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but things like kale can get down to literal minus 20 degrees Celsius with next to no cover. And its more moodier cousins, such as Swiss chard, can definitely make it through those cooler temps under a cold frame or a low tunnel. And not to mention a number of different root vegetables, if left in ground, become much tastier. Carrots, beets, radishes, turnips, that sort of thing become much tastier when they're exposed to the cooler temps. Now, that isn't the hack that I'm going to talk about at the end of the video for carrots and beets. However, it is definitely something you want to consider, because why fill up your fridge and your cold storage if you just leave things in the ground and they overwinter perfectly fine? So if you want more information on what seeds you need to choose based on your zone or number of light hours or your temperatures you get, then I actually encourage you to check out the video up here. If I forget to put it up here, Geek Group, please remind me, because it goes into really, really deep depths on how to actually do this. Next up, we have seeds that sprout in the spring, and it's not what you think it is. Trust me, I've been doing this for years with peas, but last year I actually tried it with spinach as well. So peas and spinach are two really good examples of this. You sow them the same as you would sow them in the spring, but instead you sow them now. But over the years, I've screwed this up many a times. So here are some things you want to definitely consider if you go this route. Number one is you want to sow them in ground or in the center of a raised bed, because we don't want them near the edges where things can get a little bit cooler. Secondly, we want to sow them as late as possible in the season. So we need the soil to still be workable. We don't want it frozen solid. We also want that soil to be incredibly dry. So if you are still expecting some rain, if you haven't blown out the sprinklers yet and you're scared your significant other is going to turn said water on, then hold off. We want bone dry soil. We don't want anything to germinate prior to the frost hitting, because it may not overwinter as well as you think it will. Next up is mulch. You want to put a healthy amount of mulch on top of this area. And the last one, very important, particularly if we're talking spinach, is to mark said space, because you will wake up in the spring and think to yourself, is that a weed or is that spinach? I cannot remember for the life of me what I'd be shocked how quickly I forget things. And that definitely did happen. It ended up being spinach because I just left it because I was relatively confident that's what it would have been. But anyways, definitely a mistake you do not want to make. Now here's the thing. This is going to be the indicator as to when your soil is ready for other seeds to be planted. Seeds will only germinate at very specific temperatures. So once that temperature is hit, the seeds of your peas and your spinach will germinate. This is an indicator that you can get into the garden and plant the rest of your seeds or begin to transplant things outdoors. So rather than going out there with a soil temp thermometer in the spring, repeatedly probing the soil, whatever you're into, if you're into it, go ahead. But if you're not into fondling soil, then use the plants as your indicator. Next up, we have garlic. So I have an entire video on garlic and how to plant it, so I'm not going to go into too much depth on that. But what I will say is planting it now, anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks before your first frost, is about the time to do it. Now, keep in mind, if you water things, things are going to grow. That is normal. So if you end up with little bits of garlic sticking up above the ground, it's fine. You don't have to panic about it whatsoever. Actually, it's something that can help overwinter things a little bit better, in my opinion. So don't panic if things do begin to grow. It's a much different scenario with garlic being planted and then sprouting versus the spinach and the peas being planted and then sprouting. Next up, we actually have cold frames and low tunnels. So one of the best ways to actually look at this and understanding the temps, if you don't want to put too much math into it, I have a whole video that kind of goes into the ins and outs of that. So go check that out. But a really good way to kind of analyze it is that if you're in a zone 3 and you put a cold frame or a low tunnel in place, you're probably bumping yourself up into a zone 4. So you are probably just jumping one zone ahead. And that's a really good indicator as to what you could grow in that space. So for example, I'm in zone 3. If I put a cover on top, I can then Google things that grow in the fall and winter in a zone 4 uncovered. And that is a good place to start with what I should be planting without putting any thought into like number of hours of light, temps, that sort of thing. It's kind of just the lazy way of doing it, which oftentimes I use. There's an ungodly number of tomatoes that are ready in here, most of which are cherry tomatoes, and I'm kind of sick of eating tomatoes at this point, so I'm probably just going to let them go back into Mother Nature. But while those aren't going to overwinter well and give us seeds next year, one thing that will are things like carrots and beets. So what you want to do is you want to leave said plants in place. You want to insulate them so they can make it through the winter. This will involve using mulch. This will involve using snow. Your goal is to keep these plants as toasty warm as possible throughout the entire winter. This will sustain them until spring. Once the ground thaws out and they come out of their nap, they have a ton of stuff going on there. And because there's something called biannual, they can and will actually flower. And by the way, carrot flowers are gorgeous, beautiful, and it will produce seed. Now, the seed you get off of this plant is literally made for your climate. This means the carrot is more likely to germinate and be successful and get big in your soil. It also means the carrot is more likely to overwinter and collect seeds from every single year. So definitely something to consider. And that goes for pretty much any plant that you're growing in your area. When you save seeds, you just slowly are pushing evolution into the direction you want it for your area. That's why oftentimes it's really important to purchase seeds from a zone similar to yours. So for example, companies are located all over the world, and you always want to aim for something ideally in your province and or in your zone, at a minimum in your country. And if you're countryless at this point in time, because your world leaders have gone bananas, then I actually encourage you to hit that subscribe button and join the country of Geek Crew. We're located mostly on the internet, but you know what? That doesn't matter. You hit that subscribe button and I can promise you with all my heart that I will give you science-based information in a fun, digestible way with absolute zero seriousness put into it. But with that being said, I actually highly encourage you to check out this video right here. It's all about how to properly plant garlic and an experiment that I did and actually showed pretty major differences based on how I planted things, and definitely something you want to consider. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.